I tell them you're building your brand for after college.
Yes.
The biggest thing is, what are you to separate yourself from someone that's going to Yale and you both want to get into medical school? They have Yale, but you have 200 hours of community service. You have softball accolades, you have an internship, and that's what we work them through too.
As a student athlete, you went to a Division I university, which is the University of Wisconsin.
Yes.
You graduated right there, and you have a very good average for 286 lifetime. So I want Coach. Before anything, I'd like to thank you one more time for in this episode right here. But I want you to take me over, Coach, how everything started. How was, how old were you when you started playing softball? How you find the passion for the sports? How was, when you went into the high school level, that jump into the Division I at the collegiate level?
Yeah, of course. So I started playing in the 5th grade, competitively with travel ball. I played t-ball, coach pitch before that. But I've actually played basketball and softball competitively, AAU basketball. Yeah, so I was playing 2 kind of like travel ball sports at the same time, and I was playing with my neighbor growing up. She's actually the head coach at Lafayette College. So we grew up together, we just played together. And then it was about my sophomore, junior year, kind of made the decision hey, softball, I'm kind of getting pretty good at it. And parents, I actually was playing high school basketball. I was on varsity and I went up to go, do a layup and rolled my ankle and was out the whole entire basketball season. And my parents were like, it's time to decide, what do you want to do? I said, I want to do softball. I'm good at softball. I've always been good at softball. I love basketball, but, my passion's kind of with softball. And then they said, well, what do you want to do with it? And I was like, I want to play college. So
excellent.
Switched programs. I played with the Ashburn Shooting Stars growing up, and then I moved to the Shamrocks, which, back in 2007, 6, 8, 2005, they were a powerhouse all across.
Powerhouse.
They were the first east of the Mississippi to win a national championship. And that's when it was just gold softball. It wasn't PDF. It wasn't anything. Everybody just, it was one big hub of softball. And, I was playing with girls that, went to Michigan, Arizona State, Baylor, Troy. And our team was not like a typical team. We all weren't from the same area.
So that was a tough team then. If you
it was hard because not everybody lived in the same area. We weren't practicing together all the time. So, it kind of got me to figure out you have to kind of practice on your own.
Definitely.
So the team was from DC, which I'm from the DC area. So I commuted into DC 2-3 times a week after school. Also, you got to practice on your own. And if you're not practicing on your own, then you're falling behind. You're not starting, you're not playing. And I was a first baseman my whole life. Our first baseman on our team went to Michigan. She was an all regional player at Michigan. And, I wasn't going to take her spot. So I ended up playing outfield.
Okay.
So, majority of my time I was playing in the outfield. Most people look at me and they're like, how is she playing outfield? I'm actually a little bit faster than most people thought. I think that's kind of why I got recruited to Wisconsin is people kind of just, look at me and they're like, oh, she's just got to hit, but she can't run. I like to drop bunts. Kind of how it plays into how I coach now these days too. But, Wisconsin saw me. It was kind of between Purdue and Wisconsin. And Wisconsin was always, as you can see, got my posters behind me, but It was kind of a no-brainer for the fact of I had two uncles that went to Wisconsin.
Okay.
They both
Okay.
went there, and then they actually went to Michigan for law school. So I was like, Big Ten's kind of in my blood.
So that's in the blood. Exactly. That's right
Yeah,
there.
it was it was an easy decision. You know, I made it like at the end, like going into my senior years over 4th of July weekend. And, you know, I just kind of decided, I was like, that's the best for my education.
Excellent.
Well as, you know, it was a building process at the time.
Mm-hmm.
They did well a little bit in the past, but it's never really been that booming program. And I knew like the perfect spot for me, because I knew I had the opportunity to play. Some places, you know, Purdue wanted me to play outfield, and I'm like, I'm not an outfielder.
You're not an outfield.
I wanted to get back to the infield. I played the corners, but I eventually ended my career being a DH because I have had 3 shoulder surgeries through college.
Oh, you did? Oh, wow.
That kind of changed my path and what I wanted and my growth through college. I think it really kind of helped define who I am today with getting those injuries. So that's kind of the path to like Wisconsin.
Interesting, because, you know, I was, you know, you were talking about how fast you were, people mistaken. And I read that you like to put your team to run. I read. So
I do.
So it's like, come on, you were number 1 and 2 for 2 years in a row. With your team was number 1 and 2 on stolen bases. And in 2017 and 18, that's how it was. Yes.
At Florida Southwestern, I'm a little bit different. You know, I think everybody really talks about home runs, power. I was a hitter, don't get me wrong, but I think speed kind of causes some havoc and used enough in certain situations. I like to keep people on their toes. What I do when I watch the game is like, who's not covering, who's being lazy, you know? It's like I'm in a 1st and 3rd situation. You can't cover every bag. So it's like, where are you, what are you constantly doing? So that's the stuff that I keep record of. So when I play you, or if I play somebody, I know in advance where I can take advantage.
You can take advantage. Excellent. I like that. I like that because on my playing days, when I play baseball, I was the opposite of you. I started in the infield. How was that? Yeah, no, correct. I started in second base, and they moved me to right, and I say, I'm staying here.
Yeah.
I like it. You know, I had a little bit of speed. I was a switch hitter. So at the time, you know, I was, you know, I never had power, never had power in my life. Contact guy. But yeah, my record, I think my best season was 488, if I'm not mistaken. That was my base.
That's a season. That's a season.
That was the season. You know, that's when I was so excited. I'm like, oh no, I need to play professional, you know. And I didn't know nothing about college. I mean, if I wouldn't know, I would have played. I could have played Division I, no questions asked, you know, because in Venezuela, that's what we did, you know. Yeah, you back in the day. Baseball. You know, one of the things that I like here in the United States, and this is one of the things that I'm so passionate about college recruiting, is because, you know, high school and universities or college and sports is more than professional in Venezuela, to be honest with you. We didn't used to practice only once a week. That's all we practice. Of course, I practice with, like you say at the beginning, if you don't practice by yourself, you're done. My brother is older than me, 4 years older than me. But him and I, you know, we always, you know, throwing the ball, practicing, running. And we always talk about this because he had the opportunity to sign with the Angels and Montreal Expos back in the days. I don't know if you recall the Montreal Expos.
Oh yeah.
So he was there, and I can see all these professional athletes and learning from them. But my brother and I always talk about, you know, the opportunity in the United States. How, you know, if we would have practiced, you know, 5 times a week like you guys do right here, and games in the weekend and travel teams, you know, we would get much better. on our, on our game without a question. I mean, my brother was this call athlete, blue chip athlete, this guy is the, I remember I was so jealous because I see him playing shortstop. He was shortstop, unbelievable hands. And he was so quick and his arm was always like, a cannon right there. And I was jealous of that, but I needed to practice more. That's what you guys have here in the States. You guys have, the facilities and the universities, just unbelievable. The high school level. I mean, you still practice. You coach there constantly. Sometimes, you probably don't have the right coach at the high school level. You can see that in a few, schools, and parents complain about it, but realistically, your kid is there still practicing and going and having that opportunity. And that's one of the things that I feel more passionate about it here in the United States, to be honest, the opportunity, what you guys have in front of you, it's just amazing. So in softball, it's pretty much the same as baseball. It's fascinating to me. I mean, I love softball as well. I got kids, with softball, and I keep watching their videos, and hey, I like to go one day to see if I can hit. I don't know, maybe that seems kind of quick.
It's different.
What do you see the difference between a baseball and a softball? What do you think?
It's the planes. That's the biggest difference. Is baseball, everything's coming down on one plane. It's coming down. Softball, it comes up and down and side to side. So that's what makes it a little bit harder, is that in baseball, where it's coming. It's going to come and cross down through the plate. In softball, it can come up and it can come down.
It could come down.
That makes the big difference between our two sports.
Yeah.
Base path, that's the other big thing, is that our game moves a little bit quicker because it is shorter. You don't really see bunts and slaps and different things in baseball because their field's so big.
It's so big. Yeah. I love it. I'm getting really, really passionate about softball. Actually, I have a new member of iSportsRecruiting. She's a softball coach at a high school level for like many years. So you're gonna get the opportunity to see her videos. It's gonna be fun.
Great.
We're gonna get to know more about that. Now, take me over a little bit. What was your process from high school to the universities? What do you did as an athlete? How was, the approaches? How many schools did you approach? Or they came directly to you because you were up there as an athlete?
I think things are a lot different from, what did I graduate? 2008 I graduate from. So things are a lot different then, even though it's not even that long ago, to now. I think back then there's not as many teams back then as there is now. It was one Bat Busters, one Shamrocks, one Firecrackers. Now there's Firecrackers in 15 different states, so the brand of names, as well as like everything in general, is a lot different. I sent my emails. That was the biggest thing, is you sent I sent it pretty much to every Power 5 school. I think that's what I wanted. I wanted to get out of the state of Virginia. That was the thing. I kind of knew what I wanted. I wanted to go big, and I wanted to get out of Virginia.
Okay.
So those are my two big things. So it was me and my dad kind of laying out my accolades and what I've done. But back then everything was handwritten letters.
Handwritten letters, yes.
You didn't really get emails from coaches. It was, September 1st, I remember getting my letter from Wisconsin, and I have that letter to this day, but it was just like, that's how things happened. It wasn't the email. Now it's, a Zoom call, you can face to face everything. But that was like the big difference, as well as the coaches just came to you. There was no camp. I didn't go to any camps because everybody on my team was recruited. So it wasn't like I had to go somewhere. They just kind of came to us.
They came to you.
The tournaments, there was, a few big tournaments we went to, and you had 30 plus coaches sitting behind your dugout. So it made it kind of easy for you. You just got to perform. It was on you. Now today it's like you got to go to camps, you got to make yourself a video, you got to constantly be sending schedule updates and phone calls and text messages and setting up Zoom calls. It's a lot different. It's a lot.
I think back in the day it wasn't that competitive as it is right now. Right.
Oh yeah, as well as the resources. The resources were a lot different.
Yeah, because the like social media, I think is a big impact right here.
Huge.
We always talk about social media when I have the opportunity to do presentations, and social media can be good, okay, could be bad, right?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
So for you guys, when it comes to recruit, which I want you to take me over on that, what's the main for you as coach right now? You the head coach right now. What would be the main contact if I'm an athlete that I should get to you? Should I use social media? Should I use emails? Should I use a recruiting service? Should I text? I mean, because now, like you say, coaches used to go to you and look for you. Now we have a lot of, competition up there.
Oh yeah.
So what do you think is the best scenario right there, Coach?
I know for me personally, I'm a lot on my Twitter account. When people pop up or people message me, that's usually you're instant in my face. I have my email. I'm constantly on my email. But I think the big thing, especially with COVID, advancement is a film. Hey, let me send you something short, something sweet, something personal, as well as a small clip. And I'm not someone that I need intro or music. It's a couple clips of you hitting or a couple clips of you pitching each of your pitches. I want you run how fast you can run, how far you can throw, and how hard you can throw. Those are kind of the key points that I'm looking at. And then, if you do have a schedule, attach the schedule. But the biggest thing, is the follow through. Us coaches, we're looking at hundreds of players. So you not making any kind of difference with those hundreds of people you're kind of getting pushed to the side. If you want to play Division I softball, it's how are you separating yourself from thousands of other student athletes that want to play Division I. The ones that I look at the heaviest are the ones that text me once a week with, this is how high school's going. This is what I've done. I'm on the honor roll. They're constantly, they're like your child. They're constantly checking in on you.
Definitely.
And it shows that they want you as much as you want them.
It becomes
I'm
personal.
Investing in you.
Right. It's more like personal. Okay. Get to know me more. How I'm doing. Here's my grades. Here's what I did probably this weekend
exactly.
Because maybe I say this to my athletes. I think a touch a month is the goal. One touch a month with the coaches, because I know you guys, I can't imagine, because I talked to a few coaches with the past, and sometimes they told me it's too much when you social media and emails, and so you guys get
tons. It's a lot.
So it's a lot. So constant, to be constant with you guys, the touch, hey, at least once a month I'm here. Hey, I'm, this is what I did through the year or through the months, excuse me, or this is my performance, or hey, here's my couple new highlights, as you mentioned.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah, it's just, and being realistic with what you want. You go on Twitter and you're looking at someone's film and they've got Alabama, UCLA, Oklahoma, this and this. And it's like, you know, be realistic of where you actually think you can go, as well as like, what steps have you even taken to get to that school?
Correct.
Big thing.
Correct.
You know, do you want, you know, I'm talking to recruits every week. That's, you know, that's part of our job. I think it's the biggest part of our job. If you don't find the right people, then, you know, you're not going to set yourself up for, you know, success. So it's, you know, making sure when you talk to a coach that you have questions, you know about the university, you know about the coach, you know about the program, you know, making sure like the school has the education program that you want.
Correct.
Yes, you know, because for me, it was like I always wanted to coach, and it was easy even through high school. So it was like, let me just find the school and I can get into a major. As you know, I had people that want to be doctors, and, you know, we don't have nursing. So if you want a nursing program, this isn't the school for you. This
isn't the school for you.
Yeah. So it's, you know, that's the stuff, you know, as well as like the parents. I think that's the big thing, is making sure the parents understand this process more than anything, because I will say probably 90% of the time I don't even talk to a parent. And that's a red flag.
That was my next question. Do you talk to parents? Do you have the opportunity to in exchange conversation with them?
I feel like sometimes, you know, the first time I want to just talk to the student athlete, but after that, it's like I always send a follow-up email about housing, you know, scholarships, things like that, and, you know, what your parents' questions are, or your guardian, and I usually don't get a response, and that's like,
oh, really? No.
Yeah, so it's like, are you not translating to your parents what you've talked about? You know, or usually when I talk to parents, it's about money. It's not about what other scholarships can they apply for. Because I know some universities, you just can have academic, or you can just have athletic. We can have.
Correct.
You know, it's what's your projection for my daughter? You know, people are you bringing in her class? You know, what's your plan as a coach? You know, that's the hardest question I think everybody should ask, because coaches constantly turn over. You know, it's, you know, what is your realistic term? Like, do you want to be here, or is this a stepping stone? You know, so, but also like conflict with classes and practicing. So it's, can they not take a certain class because of practice? You know, so it's, those are some of the, I don't think people like to hear the hard questions.
No.
And I'm a forward person. I think that's, a lot of people say you love me or you hate me. And
well, I like that.
I'm the person that asks those questions because it needs to be answered. So there isn't, you know, someone going in the portal or someone's quitting because they don't know your realistic goals and outcomes.
You know, it's important for parents to understand that, because sometimes they say, okay, this is your job. You know, this is, you know, it's up to you. It's not up to me. It's whatever you decide to do. And sometimes we need, you know, I always, you know, try to push as much as I can. It's, you know, it takes two to tango sometimes.
Of course.
Without a question, it takes two to tango. And coaches, you guys have a lot to do, not just on recruiting, because then you have training, then you have, you know, games. I don't know if some of you guys are like, how many hours you practice a week? I mean, how many hours?
We can go up to 20. We can go up to 20 hours a week with them.
You can go up to 20 hours a week. And then you have your travels, right? Because you have to go through the season, and then after the season is over, you have a lot of work to do still. It's not like you relax.
Scouting, recruiting. It's just, you know, it's some programs, they're blessed with a sports you know, a director of ops. I mean, they're blessed with a director of ops that kind of plans stuff for them. But it's like, for me, it's like I'm planning, you know, I'm going to Atlanta this summer. So it's like I'm planning the hotel, what games to go to, make sure I'm hitting the right parks to see the right girls. but that's all planned. That takes, 2-3 days out of everything. And then I'm the grounds crew. So I'm not blessed with people to come. It's me and my volunteer, the weed killing and the weed whacking and dragging and painting. And, those are the, the things you see different in a lot of premier programs to where we are.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's the fundings, when you got that type of funding, so when you have these, Pac-10 university, Ivy League schools, when you have these type of schools, I was talking to a few coaches like lacrosse and fencing coaches, and they always say, we don't have the budget of a football team or basketball team, which are the money makers, and probably baseball, some of the programs, like Miami is a university, have a very good program on baseball.
Of course.
So they have people that can help you. You probably have 3-4 assistants, right? In order for things to go. But in your case, it's yourself and yourself.
Yeah. But I've learned, it's been a blessing in disguise how much, I've learned in my short time here.
I
have to wear so many hats, with, recruiting a brand new team. Basically, my whole team's pretty much different from when I first got here. It's me and my volunteer, which is, he's been the biggest blessing. He's my boyfriend as well. So it's been nice, but he's a full-time student. So it's like, you've got, how do you divvy up all the work, but also you're hitting every category,
Definitely.
It's like today I had team meetings, and it's planning my Atlanta trip as well as sending emails. And it's like, tomorrow you're hitting the field for hours, but also how do you take care of yourself? So it's like making sure you get in a quick workout somewhere, somehow, or reading a book or whatever it is to make sure you take care of you personally at the same time.
That's good. That's a good note. That's a good note right there. It's important for you to take care of yourself as well, because it's a lot of responsibility, a lot of hats, after you mentioned. So let's go over a little bit, or let's go back on the turnover from, being a student, to coaching. You always had that mentality. You mentioned right now, you always had the mentality to be a coach. How come you feel that passion, and how come, and how easy or difficult was this transition to find your first job?
I kind of always knew, because I just love softball. It's just always what I've wanted to do. It's like, some people are like, I want to be an engineer. Some people I want to be a scientist. I wanted to coach, and my brain is just wired for it. I love watching a game and picking it apart. And it's like, oh, you missed that ball because your hips pulled out too much. You're late, you're dragging. I love to break it down. Okay, where do you need to pick it up sooner? That's the type of stuff I just loved.
So you studied the game.
Yeah, I study it like it was, that's how I translate it to my players. It's like, softball is school, you want to go play softball instead of going to get a job, and that's my class, as we call them. And so I knew, so it's like, what do I have to do to get better at this? And, my coaches were like, okay, they would give us some assignments. So we're playing Michigan this week. Okay, watch film. What's her go-to? What does she do when she's behind? What are their situations? And they gave us a sheet, and then I just kept getting into it. And I was just like, and I kept getting better. I was hitting well. It was by my junior year that we had our second set of coaches, and they just kept giving me more and more information. And it was just like, I saw it translate into the game. That was my best year, my junior year. I was hurt. I tore my labrum in my left shoulder, but I was like, I can't play the field, and I can't, but what can I do well? And I'm like, I can hit. So it's investing everything I could into that. And I was like, from that point forward, I was like, I want to coach, as well as having a surgeon tell you hey, maybe coaching is not best for you because of your shoulder. And I kind of was like, use that as fuel. Like let someone,
Don't
everybody
you love
knows that
that when they
about
tell you can't?
yeah, I'm that type of person. You tell me I can't, I'm gonna do it. So having that person tell me like, you should probably, because it's just so much wear and tear. I was like, away. Like I will do whatever it takes. Have someone hit a little bit more, or I don't catch balls always over the top of my head. So it's like knowing what I can do my coaching career. But then my 5th year came around. I decided to go to school for 5 years because I wanted to work with the softball team. That's why I set myself up that way.
So you started as an assistant right there.
Yeah.
The graduating assistant, right? Correct.
Yeah. My grad assistant.
Grad assistant. Yeah.
So when I decided that, I was like, okay, they just gave me things to do. And I was just spray charting games constantly for every opponent, helping the players on the team as much as that I could, developing drills. And that's kind of what led me into, okay, let me just start applying after college.
After college. Excellent.
So I never got a job. It's always hard getting into a job after college, especially coaching. There's so many different avenues, and I didn't hear anything. So I went home. And I asked, because I'm from the DC area. So I have George Mason 20 minutes from my house. I have George Washington about 40 minutes. And I was like, 30, 40 minutes. I was like, you know what, let me go ask me a volunteer. I did it both in the same week, and GW asked first. And I was there for the whole year. I got to be a hitting coach. Most volunteers are like, okay, keep some charts or, help feed, do this and that. They were like, hey, you're the hitting coach right away.
Excellent.
Got to figure it out right then and there. But ever since then, it was, and I worked. Some people, they're like, oh, I want a $50,000 job right out of college. That's not always the case.
That's not always the case. Yeah.
I lived at home. I worked at a gym from 5 to 12. I went to DC from 2 to 7, and then did it all over again. Time's not getting till 9. If you know where DC is, traffic is bumper to bumper. So, getting home at 9 o'clock, eating some dinner and doing it all over. But
doing it all over. So you sacrifice a lot because of the passion. Excellent.
So
and then from there, that's when you went to Jones River from there, and then Florida. Now, you are now the head coach. In order for me to approach you, in order for me to make sure, academically speaking, let's talk about academics, okay? What would be the regulations right there when it comes to academics?
For recommendations for academics?
Yes. I mean, like in your end, what will you see on the academics? Do the kids have to be in a certain GPA, or what do you think? What do you look
so first? Each division has its own rules off of, what is accepted, as well as each school has their own rules. So the NCAA, for us, there's certain requirements for, you've got to pass like 4 English, 3 math. You've got to hit certain requirements to play Division I, as well as a GPA with an SAT score.
An SAT. So you guys requiring the SATs right now? You are requiring that?
We are for the following, not this coming year, but the following year.
The following year.
They're requiring SAT or ACT scores. So it's and everything's a scale. So if you don't hit a certain requirement, that's kind of why you have to go to the junior college level. Some people they can get those qualifications, get to a Division 1, 2, or 3 or NAIA.
Yeah. And you have experience in junior college. You have experience in
Division 1.
Division 1. So between the two, because I know junior college, sometimes they have very good teams right there.
Oh yeah. There's when I was at Florida Southwestern, we beat, UCF, Florida Gulf Coast. We went and played Florida. They're competitive. Some people are like, oh, it's the grades or they're not good enough. And that's not the case. It's, hey, there was a coaching change and you didn't want to go to that school, so you're dropping back a year. Or it was, hey, last minute, your scholarship got taken because they need to give it to somebody else.
Exactly.
Or, for us, we had 4 New Zealanders. You had 4 girls international that came over and they have to play 2 years.
Oh, really? They do have international.
If they go JUCO, they have to play the 2 years there before they can move on. So there's so many different factors into the junior college route. And in Florida, you can go to school for free. I know our girls, they got free tuition, free dorms. No matter if you're from Florida, you're from, Canada, wherever it is, you can't beat up those opportunities.
You can't.
Everybody's like, I don't want to be in debt. That's eventually going to happen for majority of people, but less is, better, obviously. So it's just so many different opportunities, compared to, Division I. It's, everyone wants a full ride. That's not the case 5% of the time.
So and you how many athletes you have? How many?
I have 17 as of right now.
17 as of right now. And are you looking to bump it up or up to 25 or so?
I like no more than like 23.
No more than 23.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes it gets too big.
It's too big. Okay, so let's say you have 23 athletes. What would be the space for athletic scholarships in your team?
It kind of depends. I get like a chunk, and I just get it the way that I want. Some people it's all or nothing. You get many full scholarships or 85%. Some programs are broken down like that. So for me, it's kind of nice that I can set a number,
so you
to our tuition. That's kind of how we do it here.
Excellent. Oh, so it's not like, okay, well, you have this many spaces, this many.
I have so if I use my total, I could break it up into
definitely
so many full rides, but I'm not a fully funded program, so I can't, 12 full rides is a fully funded program, so that's a big number out of 17, right? You'd have, some walk-ons, which I have some walk-ons, but me, it's an average of like, okay, I can give you like 10, that's usually, if it's 18.5 out of state tuition, that's a decent number. And then majority of my players get academic money, that's
exactly.
Strive to find girls that are good, community service, honor roll, A's and B's, because I know they can get some more on top.
Some more. And do you guide them through that, through like, like community, all that, or the university itself, or
every person I talk to, after I talk to them, I send them a link with every scholarship our university offers.
Oh, awesome.
Because it's, I don't want them just thinking you're going to come here and get a full ride. Now, if you show up and you get player of the year and, you're breaking records, I got to bump your money. And that's all my players. It's a business, it's a business. And so you're at a base, and it's the same thing with me. If I perform well in my job, I get bonuses. It's the same way I treat it for them. I tell them, unless you're not doing what you're supposed to do, I'm not taking your money. But you can always get money. I make sure to reward those for working hard, outside the field and onside the,
you mentioned something very important, community hours. How important? I mean, even though you do a few hours in the community, you can get a good 1,000, 2,000 extra.
I tell all of my players, I like for them to get at least 20 hours a year of service. And that's like, from June to June or December to December. And then we try to find them opportunities as well. So we have a lot of Little League that plays in Ocean City in the fall, or tournaments. So a lot of our players will go run the clock or, take tickets or whatever to help, as well as what they do at home. I have players that help coach Little League themselves. And not take pay. And I tell them you're building your brand for after college.
Yes.
The biggest thing is, what are you to separate yourself from someone that's going to Yale and you both want to get into medical school? They have Yale, but you have 200 hours of community service. You have softball accolades, you have an internship, and that's what we work them through too is, we, at the end of, it's probably mid-March, we have them set up goals, goals, not softball goals, but what do you want to do when you're done here or getting to those goals?
Excellent. I like that. So you push them to be better at what they are and for the future. You're making sure that, hey, you know what, I'm here to guide you to get better on where you are, which is extremely important for the athletes by the time they're done with the school.
Of course, because softball is 4 years.
It's 4 years, yeah.
5, COVID, it might be 7, we joke around and say that, but I don't want people, I'm trying to figure out the resources I didn't always have when I was in college to give to my athletes.
Excellent.
That's the biggest thing to me is I don't want players leaving here trying to figure out what they want. I already want it set up for them.
Beautiful.
When they're done, that's, my 2 seniors or, every single one. Actually, I had 3 seniors this year. One's coming back and she's in pharmacy school at our school. Another one, she's coming back again and getting another bachelor's because she wants to play. And then one's starting her career in special education. But
beautiful.
They all, but the one that's coming back, she's going into hospitality. So she's going to cooking school when she's done. It's like she knows boom, boom, boom.
She knows what
to do, and it makes it easy. But I got my freshman. It's like, I don't know what I like. I don't know. So it's like, what classes can we take to start setting you up for what's interesting to you?
Yes, that happens. Freshman, everybody's lost, pretty much. I mean, that's normal. Everybody's like, okay, where should we go from here? Let's have fun first. And then now, your team, you have 17 right now. You mentioned COVID, going up to 7 years. No,
yeah.
So I know last year, everybody, craziness. Things are getting better right now. Things are getting, into a better scenario with the pandemic. We have to still follow the regulations. We still have to, get vaccinated. We still have to wear the mask. Where are you at right now as a coach or your school on that particular scenario with COVID? Are you guys ready to go full ride? I mean, 100%, or how's that going?
So I've been informed that we'll be full go next year.
Okay.
We did not play this year actually because of COVID. Smaller school, we're about 2,000 students. So a big thing for them was us being a good portion of the school. For constantly coming and going, we have the potential of bringing it back, which could shut our school down. So they thought, let's let this kind of die its way out and then revisit next year. So, people have been vaccinated. You can see states are fully open now. You can go into stores with or without a mask, depending, the company wants. But, we can play a fall schedule. We have a full spring schedule. We're getting back to normal.
You're getting back to normal.
Back to 2019, as we say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So by the end of this year, you should have everything back to normal, your team should be set pretty much. You're still looking for athletes right now. You have
always
17 right now. You're looking for some more, going to
Yep.
Georgia and everything. But on this case, you are coming with starting the practicing. When you start practicing normally?
Labor Day.
Labor
That's
Day.
our first team practice is Labor Day.
Okay, excellent. So you should be, you should be okay by Labor Day. You mean you have to be okay with that. Excellent.
98 days. We actually had our first team meeting, because we can have meetings over the summer through the NCAA. And we kind of broke down our season with numbers. And, the first one was, the first day of practice, which is 98 days. So it's like, we've made a lot of changes in 365, and it's like, let's add 98 more to, really secure that things are moving forward on the university as well, state and nation, wide. So we're excited.
Excellent. No, that's a good news. And now, as well as I don't know if that applies to you, but death period finally, today, actually the first, right? Today, actually, is back to life.
Yeah, it's I can see people in person, we can have visits. It's very exciting. This weekend I'm not, because I have 2 childhood friends getting married this weekend at home. But, I've been looking at my schedule and I'm like, I'm going to be living out of a suitcase for the next, 2 months.
2 months. Excellent.
Constantly camps and recruiting and, just finding the right people.
You like showcases? You like to go to showcases
that's what it is now.
That's what it is.
There's the pros and cons to showcase. I a little bit more tournament based ball done. Showcase is kind of showing itself when girls get to college. Because games are an hour and 10 minutes and you're getting 3-4 innings in, and we play 7. That's what sport should be. And it's trying to play so much softball, but not the right kind of softball at times, I feel.
So you like more the tournaments, probably.
It's playing to win.
Exactly.
You gotta win. And it's I rather see 20 teams at a tournament and they're fighting for a berth, 1 or 2 berths, and playing 7 innings, rather than 65 teams playing for, and we're giving out 6 berths and they're an hour and 10 games and it's no new batter. So it's like, they don't get to experience the endurance, the mindset of how to win, fundamentals of, you're down early, and how do you get back in the late 5th inning? It's that kind of softball that I miss to watch. Rather than it's like, oh, you want her to hit again. It's like, you don't get to hit again. You don't get 4 pinch runners for the same person. You're not letting them get to experience what actual collegiate softball is. And the rules are very different. Each organization has its own, it's USA now has their rules, USSSA, NSA, everybody's different. And you're correcting some things when you get to the next level because they got to do it at that level, pitching, you can step back in certain organizations, in college, you got to be still, double bags compared to 1 bag, or, so it's making sure strike zones are technically different in different organizations. So it's making sure we're staying true to the game and not getting away, because how can we showcase more of our?
Well, I like showcases, don't get me wrong, but it's a business. I look
100%. You said it. I was trying to do it in the nice way, but it's a money thing. That's what our society is how can I make the most amount of money, but not always stay true to what's right.
Well, exactly. I mean, Yes, I mean I like showcases, but I prefer, like you say, tournaments without a question. Tournaments with you compete in tournaments.
Yeah.
You will compete in tournaments, and coaches will be able to see where where you are, right there, in this scenario. Now, on the note of the athletes, if I'm an athlete, okay, I'm looking to the school and I see your name, Karla Powell, and I want to approach you. Normally they don't, they don't ask this type of question. But if I'm an athlete, okay, what should I expect from you as coach?
That I'm going to be very forward with you. I'm going to be very upfront with you. I think that's my big thing is I don't sugarcoat it because it's not going to do anybody good. But I'm a very bright personality type of person. I'm very, I'm transparent in a way with my athletes as well, because knowledge is power. And I want my female athletes to have as much knowledge as they possibly can about the process, because I remember going through this. You're not always told the things that you need to be told. And that's what I'm going to make sure, they don't need to know everything, but they need to know what's going on, with their program or athletics or through the NCAA. It's making sure they're informed and they're not getting taken advantage of, or
Excellent.
they can have a voice. That's what people should know about me, is that's the kind of coach I am.
Beautiful. I like that type of coach. I prefer for you to tell me, hey, you're doing it wrong right here. Hey, let's work. Let's stay. Move to this side or that side instead of. I prefer a coach to tell me instead of sugar daddy.
Yeah,
Like, oh no, no. Hey, tell me what am I doing wrong without a question. No, I like that, coach, because it's important to kids to know more about you and more about hey, your female athletes. Hey, I want a coach. I want the right coach. And from the university standpoint, and your next season, let's talk about next season, because I see that you the university have a record, on the last couple of years, kind of like a tough record.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I know, you're competitive. I know you wanted to get up there. Are you confident with the athletes that you have right now?
I'm 100% confident in the athletes that I have. When I first got here, I'm the first full-time coach they've ever hired. For my university. So, I'm known for building. That's kind of like my brand.
Beautiful.
Make something, people think it's kind of nice, going to a program that's already winning, I think that's harder because you've got to maintain someone else's kind of build
legacy. Yeah.
Their legacy. For me, I think it's better that you kind of take other people's kind of wind from something that they didn't think was going to happen. Like I said, I have, from when I first got here to now, I have 2 student athletes. So, we're completely different. First year here, and one of those girls didn't even play the first year. So I have one girl from my very first year that's still here. And we've brought in transfers. We've brought in, we got all of our freshmen that didn't play last year get to play again. And I've brought in 4 more. But all of them are super competitive. All of them have played, against, some of the best teams. But the best thing is they're all driven. The thing about my program, it was like, hey, let's make something out of nothing. Be the first. Our program's not won more than like 21 games in a season. Very doable to do. We've not won more than 7 games in a conference. That's easy to do. And it's also, we have 4 different pitchers now. I had 2 when I got here. We have depth in every position, and that's the difference that we've brought in. It's more what I am used to coaching. I got slappers now. I have girls that can snap balls down to first, with no problem. It's
excellent.
Kind of built that competitive edge, and they're buying into it. That's what the winning programs do. They buy in. It's not always having to be the best players. It's you're buying in when your coach is telling you this is what we got to do today.
Well, and they have to have the mindset. They have to be in the right mindset with the coach, along with the coach in order for them to have success. And I'm totally sure you could, you could be successful, bringing, a good team, with that mentality, a competitive, you have to be competitive, consistent, right? Consistency is a key.
Oh yeah. Right? we have girls that, they went out and watched our conference play when we couldn't play this year, and they're bringing our charts that we do. We broke down games all semester, and I'm big on my volunteer as an umpire as well, so it's knowing where people should be, what is obstruction, what is interference, how do I make sure that I'm not putting myself in a situation on a rounding so I get knocked over. Like, what is the strike zone by definition? And it's one of the greatest things is one of my freshmen, she's a beast, and she's hitting home runs for days, and she's one of the catchers, and we're watching film, and she's like, umpire, he's at the point of the plate, he's extended off the third base side, and I'm like, that was the answer, I have to explain it, and she's like, it's getting easier. Like,
excellent.
We watch and people are like, oh, that should have been a strike. And they're like, didn't touch the plate, because, people want that river and it's not. And, our umpires, yes, are different than an SEC or a Pac-12. We tell them we got to play to that. If I try to teach you to play to MEAC standards, we're never going to compete with that standard. That's what we strive for. Is I want to go play Oklahoma and compete. I don't want to get run ruled and be one of the 30 people that have been run ruled this season. It's we make sure that but it all starts here. It doesn't start with a bat in our hand. You don't believe it, it's never going to happen. And
stay home.
Try to get our players to get.
Stay home.
Stay home. It's not going to be fun. So it's fun for them, and not for us.
So well, I hope to see you. I hope to see you up there, with the team and making sure that you guys are competitive this next spring. Which is next year. You still have a few months to do that, but I'm totally sure. I'm confident that with you as coach, you have to make it happen. You have to make it happen. Have a very positive mind and a positive, let's make it what you have 21 games next season, something like that. 56 games. So, well, 56, let's win 50 of those.
That would be amazing.
That's good. Hey, Coach, thank you so very much.